And Congressman Moskowitz, let me be the first to wish you happy summer vacation because you guys are going home a day early, later at 3 o'clock, I believe, is the end, thanks to the decision from House Speaker Johnson yesterday, widely perceived so he would not have to deal with the Epstein files and calls for, including from some Republicans, to release them. So please give us, in your estimation, the state of play today in the House of Representatives.
Well, good morning. Thanks for having me. It's not widely perceived that he's doing it. He literally said that's what he's doing, right? He's taking his ball and he's going home. He literally said that he doesn't want to talk about Epstein and he needs to give the White House more time. So this is not like something that's happening and no one really knows why. They're being directly honest with the American people that they are running away from the Epstein thing. And that's what has both MAGA and the American people paying attention and interested. We've seen the mixed messaging out of the White House and out of my Republican colleagues over the last several days, right? It went from, we must release the files are on Pam Bondi's desk, then there are no files, right? Then it was a Democratic hoax. It was, why are Republicans falling for this hoax? Then it was, okay, we'll take a vote. No, we're not going to take a vote. And then it was, oh, we're going to send Trump's former personal attorney, who is now the deputy attorney general, we're going to send him to the prison where Ghislaine Maxwell is because maybe she's got some more information. Obviously, why is this happening? Why is the White House overreacting to the story? Why are Republicans running away? The why is why American people are interested in this issue. But that's exactly what's happening. We're going to go on summer vacation. Mike Johnson's going to go get his Mai Tai with a little umbrella and, you know, hope that we don't, that this is gone 6 weeks later when we return.
Congressman, this is Susan Page. So is Jeffrey Epstein the most important issue facing the country? Is it what congressional Democrats really should be talking about?
No, of course this is not the most important issue facing the country. But when has President Trump ever talked about the most important issue facing the country, right? This is unfortunately the political world we live in, where we create issues, we manufacture issues. This issue was just created and manufactured by them. They've then mishandled it, and now it has turned out to be a real thing. And so, no, the congressional Democrats should be talking about the failures of the big, beautiful bill. They should be talking about the cost of goods, the increases to the American people, kitchen table issues. It's always about the economy. But at the same time, this has captured the zeitgeist. It's a creation of their own making. And, you know, this is just the world we live in now. And so, you know, they told everybody there were these files. The file that we got, they gave out binders, empty binders to, media influencers, social media influencers. And then they said there was no list. This is what they promised their base. And so this is a Republican fight. Democrats are more, standing back and watching it. But of course, look, we'll find opportunities to make it as difficult for them as possible.
So, Congressman, turning to perhaps one of those more important issues, in less than an hour, you'll be attending a key House subcommittee hearing on how the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, can become more, quote, agile and effective in responding to disasters. One of the goals is to take a look at the nation's current state of disaster readiness, response, and recovery under FEMA's leadership. The hearing, of course, comes just a few weeks after those recent deadly floods in Texas, and just months after President Trump blasted FEMA as an unnecessary department that should be, in his words, terminated. Congressman, you previously served as Florida's Director of Emergency Management. What are you hoping to learn from this morning's hearings? What have we seen, particularly a few weeks ago, those heartbreaking moments in Texas, about this nation's ability to be ready for and respond to disasters?
Well, let me say this. No offense to Mr. Richardson, who is the interim FEMA administrator, not Senate confirmed, of course, because he doesn't meet the requirements since he has no FEMA experience and he has no emergency management experience. So when you ask me what myself, who is an expert in the industry, is going to learn from a guy who literally just showed up on the scene, I'm going to learn nothing from him. I mean, he's had 8 prep sessions. They've been trying to give him all this information that he knows nothing about. They didn't even take, the president and the secretary didn't even take the FEMA administrator with them to Texas, something that is unheard of, never seen before in disaster response, especially a disaster of this size. What happened in Texas is just an unimaginable tragedy. It reminds me, quite frankly, what I dealt with when the shooting happened at my high school, Marjory Stoneman Douglas, watching parents having to deal with the loss of a child. It's unimaginable. But that's when Americans depend on government. They depend on government to be there in their greatest time of need. These storms, these events, they don't care about who's in power or, your political party. And that's not what happened here, right? FEMA was not there, and that's Kristi Noem's fault. She specifically delayed those urban search and rescue crews, didn't put them on the road for 3 days, unheard of. The head of the urban search and rescue crews resigned yesterday, citing chaos in the agency. Noem has absolutely destroyed FEMA. In fact, I would tell you FEMA is in worse shape than any other agency right now in all of government. And I don't even know if the White House knew what Kristi Noem was doing, and they're finding out in real time as we head into hurricane season the damage she has caused. 20% of the workforce is gone. Some of the most experienced people took buyouts. You got regional offices that are completely empty. She held on to $10 billion of previously declared disaster money. That's money that can't go back into the field so that cities, counties, municipal co-ops, electric companies are ready. She has this new rule that anything over $100,000 has to come to her. That's interesting. Is that going to make FEMA faster? That seems like more red tape and more bureaucracy. And then what she's going to say after she's done this destruction in the agency? We told you so. We told you FEMA was broken. Look, FEMA needed reform. The emergency management industry has always known that. Okay, there's lots of reform ideas. I have several that I filed bills here. They're bipartisan with Republicans across the aisle. But that's not what Kristi Noem did. What Kristi Noem did was absolute destruction of the agency. And I pray we have an easy hurricane season, because if we don't, states are in for a rude awakening.